welcome to Bad End Theater, a game that I know next to nothing about. But Amity gave me this game for my birthday, and I figured why not try it out on the channel. So here we are trying it out on the channel. Welcome to Bad End Theater. On this stage, we shall be toying with fate. You will make many choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. Spooky time. You control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? Be nice. You try to make friends with the human doll, but it kills you in cold blood. How ruthless. You found your very first bad ending, but don't worry, the story need not end here. Let's reset the stage and try again. Okay, so this time I'm the human doll. You control the human doll. You're a friendly little guy, just minding your own business. Play nice again. You and the demon doll are able to set aside your differences and become friends. Why, this isn't a bad ending at all. I should have written out this possibility. It's just not suited to my theater whatsoever. Now that you know how the story goes, you can set the doll's behavior in advance. As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to whatever you chose during your last playthrough. Oh. But now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from that doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now, try turning the doll's behaviors on and off to see the different outcomes. What happens if they both fight? Just to see... They're both gonna try and fight, so I'm gonna try and fight this time. You both attack each other at once and die together. Oh, well, that was sad. Okay, I'm done. I think I get it. The game saves your progress automatically, so just relax and collect all the bad endings at your own pace. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. Oh. Everybody's locked. I can be the hero, a maiden, an underling, or the overlord. This character has very strong gremlin energy, so I'm going to be this character. You are a demon underling, in service of the overlord. You aren't particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring at nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the overlord to your friends. They agree that she is kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. You only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's not. You tell your friends you were totally not serious about this whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo. After all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably there's nothing to do. The others nod, but don't seem convinced. You say a coup d'etat would be more effort than it's worth. But you're still gonna be a rebel and sneak out of the castle. Your friends praise your mischievous ways. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She seems very frightened and screams for a hero to come save her. You consider your options. I could gobble her up, or I could tell her to quit yelling. Quit yelling! When the maiden realizes you're not going to hurt her, she regains her composure. Now she started talking to you like you're friends or something. You don't understand humans at all. You speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you, because why is there conveniently only one language in the world? If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make sense for them to each have their own language? The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, I've got nothing better to do. You've got nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. The Overlord asks where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, but hope that the maiden is an interesting enough present that you may be forgiven. The Overlord nods and says everything's cool as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mention how you can't believe you and your friends even considered overthrowing her. Oops, we're about to get killed, aren't we? She gives you a look and you say, "That was just a joke, of course." She smiles and dismisses you. You decide it's about time for a nap. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room to find that a hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk. That looks like I could die from it. So I'm going to save myself. You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad to not be in their shoes. You also feel guilty to be thinking that as you flee the castle, until you remember your role, not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life, far away from any humans or demons, where you'll live peacefully, alone, in some deep dark forest somewhere. Deserter Underling End. Reset the stage. What if we be the maiden this time? You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon Overlord's castle. You are told that you are fated to be captured by the Overlord one day, because you are a beautiful young girl. Demon Overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone. But maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity, who knows? You are in church. You pray to your God, asking why you have been born into this role of maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You are impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon, just to, see what happens. Not long into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. Introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. But they agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you are introduced to the Overlord. She lectures the underling that brought you here, who was apparently told not to leave their post. You wonder what cruel punishment awaits them. But, to your surprise, she lets them off easy. The underling is dismissed, and the Overlord turns to you, looking very interested. You explain why you've come, and she squints at you. It turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens, or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out, and something awful would happen. And then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the Overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. The Overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The Overlord tells you again that you should get lost. How rude, you just got here. Refuse to leave. You put your foot down and tell her you're not going anywhere. You still want to fulfill your destiny even if you have to make it happen on your own. She's a little frustrated at your stubbornness, but doesn't kick you out or anything. Hooray! The Overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little you realize they may not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commands her demons to avoid towns and villages. She doesn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you've never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seems the Overlord could say the same about humans. You may be different, but really they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you think this is a place far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. But then a hero barges into the room. His clothes are stained by a dark liquid. It's dripping from his weapon, too. You realize it must be demon blood. Something horrible has happened. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The Overlord has walked past the hero and out into the hall. She's wailing. You can only guess what kind of horrible scene he's left for her. The Overlord tears the hero apart in retaliation. You watch silently, unable to scream. The Overlord, who you had just been getting along with so well, has killed another human right in front of you. It's clear now that you had been deceived by her sweet words. Demons are ruthless monsters after all. You somehow managed to slip past the Overlord and make it out of the blood-soaked castle. You never look back. Escaped Maiden End A. Reset this stage. I'm gonna be the Overlord this time, so I'm trying to set things up to be as good for the Overlord as possible. You are the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think? Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's even a role called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is just to dethrone you. Rude. Sorry, the game kicked my controller off and took me a second to realize that. Anyway, what's their deal anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing if you're being quite honest with yourself. You don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself, everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil Overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to the highest standard like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kind of bothers you. What to do with this underling? Fine, you have the day off. You tell them to go take a break from the stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. A day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you and happily scurry off to do who knows what. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a little while. Being the Overlord sure is great. You awake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk. Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Let her stay. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She just got here. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You are glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kinds of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why the people of my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We are very grateful. You're surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed, despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time, and that you are actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You notice the sounds of battle have started raging through your castle halls. The maiden is getting nervous, but you reassure her that it's only your underling's roughhousing. No big deal. You know it's probably a hero, but you don't want to upset the maiden by telling her that. Your army will take care of it. It isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? The hero just stands there unsure of himself. He is covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him, trying to explain the situation, you move past the hero and out the door. You're not thinking clearly. Seeing your servants' bodies in pieces all strewn about your castle has really taken it out of you. The hero did this? There's so much blood. Why? Why did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed rescuing? There was no one for this hero to save here. There was never any harm meant to anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? The hero starts babbling insincere apologies and excuses, realizing his wrongdoing, but you are far beyond hearing that kind of nonsense. You have had it with these humans always murdering your servants for no reason. You can no longer hold yourself back and lash out at the hero. When you regain control, there is nothing left of the hero. The maiden has fled in terror. You are alone. Wrathful Overlord and sad. Okay. So this time we will be the hero. And we will try very hard. I'm just trying really hard to set the maiden and the Overlord up together without... They both seem mutually into each other. And I want to make it happen. You are the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary, aside from the occasional heroic adventures fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You are told the maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. Who even puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out? You don't get it. But you're happy to protect the townspeople, though. You were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. No, we will flee like a coward. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now. Your reputation will be ruined. You wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You take your chance at the castle. You're a hero after all. This is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. Ask if they'll let you in. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. They stare you down, and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. That was easy. The Overlord and maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ask the maiden what's going on. The maiden explains that she was never actually captured, and that she came here of her own volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you, to reassure everyone of her safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You try to make conversation with the maiden, but she's been pretty quiet since leaving the Overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask her what the deal is. Oh, the Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You can't help but feel relieved you got the maiden out of there when you did, but she suddenly takes off toward the burning castle. Panic sets in, and you follow to try to stop her. The smoke is so thick, you've already lost sight of her. What was she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the villagers and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. Oh. Okay. No. No. Okay. Okay. I'm trying so hard to get a good ending. I want anybody to be happy. I know that it's called Bad End Theater, but consider I could have a good end. I feel like I'm getting close to getting the Overlord and Maiden to be like friends or whatever. Alright. Okay. Let's be the Maiden again. Okay, I'm gonna skip forward. Okay. Introduce yourself again. Skipping forward. What was the thing right before this? Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. As you think that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first, until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hasn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. You're about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. Unable to shake your concern, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks. The castle is engulfed in flames. Ah, shoot. Okay. Is the Overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this. You have to know. You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the Overlord isn't among them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach the Overlord's room, but the door is shut tight. The handle is too hot to touch. You're too weak to force it open. You pound your fists against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you'd forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. The smoke is too thick. You can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't got much time left now. You desperately head towards the stairs to save yourself. But this fire spread faster than you expected. You won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke. A maiden saving the Overlord? If you'd just stayed true to your role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the kind of punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotten soul. No! 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 I get the feeling that the underling... I need to do more with the underling. She's surprisingly cool with it. Oh wait, you feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the Overlord for a day off. She's surprisingly cool with it? Nice. You set out on your adventure outside the castle. She greets you and says she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. Hear her out. You're in a good mood today and are rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. They seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide it's about time for a nap. Alright, underling, we gotta figure out how to save stuff. You don't get to sleep long, your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. They're gonna get rid of the current Overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or out. And, being a pretty lazy underling, you of course reply with, "That sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead?" Your friends question your loyalty to their cause. Dang it, so I can either, as the imp, I can either die, or I can cause dilemmas. Alright. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you, but before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the Overlord really has no place in our castle. You understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother to struggle. You're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. This is a pretty messed up thing to do to a friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. Alright. Well, that didn't work. Okay. What about the Overlord? We will create a positive ending. Grant them the day off. Let her stay. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time it's a hero. He was apparently searching for the maiden, who was rumored to have been captured by your kind.
Captured? Not at all. I only really wanted to meet with the Overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind?
After everything is explained, the hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hasn't led to any horrible consequences. The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with him. Confused feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised that you had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Keep her here! Don't let her leave. She's my friend. The maiden came here to be captured by you, didn't she? You'll grant her wish. You tell the hero you won't let him take her home. The maiden assures you she'll be back, but you don't budge. The hero is cautious now. If you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil after all, and if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You have no choice. You destroy the hero before he can steal your maiden away. She's frightened. You don't understand why. Didn't she say she prefers this place to her village? Now she doesn't have to leave. You take a step towards the maiden, and she backs herself into a corner. You don't understand. She wanted to stay here with you. The hero was trying to get in the way of that. You had to kill him. You'll be sure to keep this maiden very safe from now on. Well, alright, okay. So that... Okay. So, we now have the Overlord won't let the maiden leave. So now if we're the maiden, can we force... Okay, I'm gonna try so hard to force a good ending here. Introduce yourself. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. But the Overlord objects to the hero's suggestion. You tell her you plan on returning soon, but she isn't having it. You feel nervous. The hero puts on a brave face for you. If you won't blah 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 blah, yeah.
You leave me no choice.
The Overlord suddenly jumps the hero. She tears into him with her claws. You want to cry out, but the screams catch in your throat. You watch because you can't look away. Has she really been lying to you all along? You wonder, is this your punishment for questioning the divine plan? The Overlord approaches you now. You back yourself into a corner. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the Overlord in a horrible way like this was your destiny after all. She vows to keep you safe from now on. You're afraid to find out what that means, but there's no one left to save you. You belong to the Overlord now. Well, alright. I was hoping I could change the ending there. Alright, the hero then. Flee like a coward. Ask if they'll let you in. Ask the maiden what's going on. But the Overlord okay, you ask her to return to town with you, to reassure everyone of her safety. But the Overlord objects to this. The maiden tries to tell her that she'll come right back, but the Overlord refuses to hear it. The maiden seems nervous. As a hero, it's your job to mediate situations like these. You tell the Overlord if she doesn't let the two of you go, you'll have to assume she's evil. You'll be forced to vanquish her.
You leave me no choice.
The Overlord pauses before suddenly jumping you. You are helpless as she disembowels you with her claws. How horrible. You came all this way only to be met with this cruel fate. You should have destroyed these evil creatures when you had the chance. Your dying wish is for the maiden to somehow make it out of this alive. Naive hero ending. Dang it. Stop being possessive. It's apparently not working. Get involved in the plot to kill the Overlord this time. Okay. Grant them the day off. Let her stay. Let them go. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. With the hero and maiden gone, you plop down into the comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. Your room feels so empty now. It's just loneliness. You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while. You've almost fallen asleep when the maiden and hero burst into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told that a group of demons is plotting to assassinate you. You're not surprised. How nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in, shouting that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons, crying that everything was their first underling's plan. Everyone is shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying. You yell for all of them to shut their traps. You have no doubt that your servants would let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very overlord-like. You aren't sure you have the strength to back it up, though. Lately all you do is sleep. The group of demons start muttering something about going back to Plan A and suddenly slam your door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. So this is how you'll die, burned alive in your own room by those you thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke to you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration, you don't even notice that you've grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cry for mercy, saying that they were dragged into this plot knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cry that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. Forgive them! You release the underling. Killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, they've already gotten their punishment. You'll all burn together. Overlord's true end. Before you're taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end, you say to yourself. What was the point of all my effort if the true ending is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you were. This is bad end theater. Is the pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you'd be shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plights. You started wishing for their happiness. Yes, I literally did. I said that. But you aren't going to find that here in my theater, my lovingly crafted labyrinth of suffering. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. The choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave you to it, dear guest. Reset this stage. Okay, so I have one true ending. Alright. Okay. Being disloyal is actually a good thing here. Let's see if being the hero, because when the maiden died in the fire by herself, she said that the hero, the narrator implied that the hero would be able to open the door. So, hero, let's go open the door. Flee like a coward. Ask if they'll let you in. Ask the maiden what's going on. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, as you casually exit the castle. You pause when you see a group of suspicious demons standing near the entrance. They're talking about assassinating their Overlord. This proves to you that demons really are foul creatures.
We have to tell her about this.
You don't understand what the maiden is thinking. The world is better off with less demons. They're all cold, ruthless creatures that should be destroyed. And those same creatures have just noticed you eavesdropping. The maiden takes off into the castle, and you have no choice but to follow. You burst into the Overlord's room. The maiden frantically tries to communicate what you just overheard. A demon underling barges in next, calling you liars. It's followed by the group from the entrance, who shift the blame back onto the little one. The demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? You begin shouting at them, and the whole room dissolves into noise until the Overlord yells for everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence. This Overlord is no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. If you have to cut through everyone here to get this maiden to safety, you certainly will. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. What kind of demonic magic is this? The underling pounds on the door, upset that it's been betrayed. You join it, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. The next moment, the Overlord has taken hold of the underling. It's crying for mercy. Is she going to kill it as retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the Overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? You guess it doesn't matter now. You'll all burn together. Hero's true end. No matter the perspective, the true ending remains the same. That's what makes it true. You couldn't resist seeing it for yourself, though, could you? I wonder what will happen when you collect them all. Will you give in to despair? Or... No! We're going to get every true ending. Underling, this time will be disloyal. Hear her out. Okay, let's kill the Overlord. You tell them you were just joking and clarify that you were totally in it to win it. They say you were always Okay, hold on. Okay, no. Let's kill the Overlord. They say you were always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the Overlord, you know how bad it'd be to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of faux confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're cautious if they have any idea how they want to go about this. They figured they'd just lock her in a room and set it on fire. What a stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless thugs, useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance. There'd probably be casualties if you fought her head-on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this, but you can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turn to notice a pair of humans have overheard your entire conversation. They take off into the castle. Are they headed to the Overlord's room? Heck! The Overlord will kill you for sure if she found out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon arrive to back you up. Except they don't. Instead, they blame the whole thing on you. They cry that it was all your idea, and they were just going with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe they'd tell the Overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice here. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear your traitorous friends mutter something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans. And then the room bursts into flames. You pound on the door, screaming curses at those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get that chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat. You cry for mercy. You were forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you'd sided with her. To your surprise, the Overlord spares you. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead. Looking around, you've just gone from one dead end to another. The maiden is crying. The hero is silent. You'll all burn together. Underling's true end. But I will get the maiden's true end and have all the true ends, and then I sure did accomplish something. Introduce yourself. Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. You have to warn her, but the hero shakes his head. He says that if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think? What kind of hero passes up the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle, and the unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the Overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The Overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognized from before barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised they were part of this evil plot. They seemed so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You're relieved when the Overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she is very Overlord-like in this moment. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. You watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. and thinking that must have jinxed it, because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only you had ignored those demons before, you and the hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you had just pretended to not hear them, if you had left as you were told, only the Overlord would have been killed. But you couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that, no matter what, you'll always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. The Overlord seizes her underling. They beg for their life. You pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The Overlord spares the underling. You feel relieved, but does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? Aiden's true end. No, it can't end like this. You want to answer the maiden's prayers. You've decided to find a way to save everyone. But retracing the paths you've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any room to avoid a bad ending. Is there really nothing you can do to keep them from all getting killed in the end? There's nothing you can do by acting from within the story. Maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. Oh! Everybody's on fire. But I can be question mark, question mark, question mark. Let's go! You boldly insert yourself into the story and use your incredible powers to warp everyone to safety. You didn't know you could do that. But what's going on here? You take a good moment to get a good look at yourself. You are you. But why are you pitch black? You feel that this body doesn't accurately represent you, but you move past it. Oh, am I the narrator now? Because this is the narrator's color. The narrator inserted... Okay. The hero, maiden, underling, and overlord have been staring at you, too. They look like they don't really know what they're supposed to do right now. You guess that's because you're usually the one guiding them. What will you say to them? I've come to save you. You explain to the group that you've witnessed their many terrible intertwining fates, and now you are searching for a good ending. Of course, this makes no sense to any of them. Only the maiden understands your compassion.
My prayers have been answered. You must be...
Her god? No, you're merely the player. If there was any god here, they'd be the final boss. That's just how these role-playing games go. Now you realize what the real true ending must be. Now, enough of this. I admit I've been encouraging you all along, but a self-insert story? How passé. You watch helplessly as tragedy descends from the heavens. You didn't honestly believe you were the only one who could force your way onto this stage, did you? I am the narrator, storyteller, god of this world. Call me tragedy if you like. Darkness envelops your party. You don't mind if I send each of them back to relive one of their many bad endings, right? You are alone in the darkness with me, tragedy. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying your time in my theater. Though I can't abide you stealing the show without permission. It's quite disrespectful. I'm sick of all these bad endings. And frankly, you should have never come to a place called Bad End Theater. Haven't we been over this already? You think defeating me might just be the only way to see a better ending. It's all that's left for you, isn't it? Well, this does sound like it could be entertaining. Show me what you've got. Time to fight God. The stage is set for your final battle against me, the god of this world. What will you do? How will you fight against tragedy itself? I'd love to see it. Attack! You try your best to tear me down, but you can't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist in this world, after all. Oh, is that all? You'll never defeat me like that. Wait, let me try that again. Attack again! Alright, defend! You try closing off your heart to protect yourself, but it doesn't make you feel any better. Perhaps you don't understand just how outclassed you are here. Behold my beautifully tragic tales! Doesn't seeing them all again make your heart ache? You've witnessed 13 of my painstakingly crafted endings. Your heart does indeed ache for these characters. How could you want to put an end to all this? Do you truly care for them that much? They're still suffering backstage, you know. It's a shame they couldn't make it here to the end of the world. That's right, you came here to save them. You can't do this alone. I gotta summon him. Get the Overlord, she's probably the most powerfulest. You enter the Overlord's room, relieved to see the fire contained to the torches on the walls. When you close the door behind you, the Overlord rises from her slumber. Who are you? Have you come to reside in my castle and serve me? You explain that no, you're not here to serve her. It's more like you've come to do her a favor. You ask why she spends all day sleeping instead of commanding her demon army. She laughs in response.
Many of my underlings certainly think I should be more aggressive with the humans like my father before me. His quest for revenge was endless and self-perpetuating. There's a reason I had to destroy him.
You can't help but think it's a little late in the game to be getting some new backstory.
I have no interest in waging war on the humans. I merely wish to be left alone to live a peaceful, indulgent life in my castle.
You realize she must actually be very lonely, only surrounded by soldiers instead of friends. No wonder she gets so attached to the maiden. The true end for the Overlord suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate.
My own attempts at peace have been rather imperfect. If you offer a solution, then very well, I will follow you.
Nice.
I see. So this is tragedy.
Ah, you've brought the Overlord. I don't stand a chance now.
You've prevented me from attaining peace for long enough. Prepare to die.
Ha ha ha, I hope you're prepared to face your deaths as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Ow. I don't know how to fight against tragedy yet, so for now, we're going to summon another friend. And we are going to summon next, the Maiden. You happen to find the Maiden as she exits the church, her heart set on meeting a demon. Perfect timing. She approaches you, having already taken notice of your odd form.
Excuse me, are you a traveler? I've never seen anyone like you before.
You explain that, no, you're not a traveler. Well, maybe you are in a sense. You've come all this way. The Maiden regards you with excited curiosity.
Then perhaps you might be a demon? I was hoping I would meet one today.
You think of all the terrible fates that hope would bring about. She is the catalyst of this story, after all.
My role as a maiden is to be captured by the Overlord, but you see, I've grown so tired of waiting.
You remember this part. She wanted to understand her role better, and so you ask what it is that she's really hoping to gain from this. The Maiden is confused by your question. Perhaps it was as simple as to reach the place she felt like she belonged. The true end for this Maiden suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate.
If there's something I can do to find fulfillment, then please, guide me.
The Maiden will now fight alongside me too.
What is this horrible creature?
You wound me, dear Maiden. Is tragedy really such a terrible thing to behold?
I remember now. I remember all the awful things you put us through.
Then this should be familiar to you as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Kindness. So naive, I'll balance your kindness with my cruelty. Dang it. I'm dying. Alright, hero, we need you. You find the hero in his home, hunched over a sewing table. Your sudden intrusion scares the heck out of the poor guy.
Are you some kind of demon?
You explain that no, you're not a demon. How can you explain it in a way the hero can understand? Instead, you ask what he's sewing. Oh, this? I craft all my own hero gear. You sense his pride in his hobby. You wonder if the costumes would attracted him to the role of hero. Would you like some clothes? You don't seem to be wearing any. You remember the state of your body, and decide that yes, some clothes from the hero would be nice. He is overjoyed by your answer. Apparently his outfits are too gaudy for the other townfolk, so no one else wants them. The true end for this hero suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change his fate. I could make a living as a tailor rather than a hero? Please, tell me what I can do to reach that dream. The hero will now fight alongside me. I agreed to follow you, but I didn't expect to face something like this. The hero has arrived. We really couldn't have a final boss battle without him. You're the one who's been killing us. Murderer! I can't truly call myself a hero until I see you defeated. We'll see about that. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. I'm about to die, I think. Your HP has run out. I am overcome by tragedy. If you wish to challenge me again, collect more bad endings. Alright, so I have to do the Maiden's true end again. I got my bad end. No, don't be hungry. Don't be tyrant, don't be antisocial. Merciful. Diplomatic. Polite. Okay. That's how I got the Maiden's true end. So, Maiden's true end again. polite. Got there. Maiden's true end. So you're back. Are you ready to challenge me once more? I will find my own true ending. Yes. Oh, the more endings I get, the more HP I have. Got it. Well, I'm gonna have a bad time. I should at least be able to get all my characters back. Let's get the underling. You approach the gates of the Overlord's castle. The underling is on guard duty, as you expected. They call out to you. The other demon guard is sound asleep.
Hey, you're a pretty weird-looking intruder. What do you want?
You explain that no, you're not an intruder, although you're definitely intruding into their story right now. You tell the underling you've come to save them from tragedy.
Okay, try saving me from boredom first. I hate this job.
The underling snickers. You ask what kind of job they'd rather have.
It'd be best if I didn't have to work at all. I just want to live a carefree life and never get bossed around or picked on.
You think of the underling's friends, who had bullied them into the assassination plot, only to betray them in the end. If they kept better company, maybe they wouldn't feel so restless. The true end for the underling suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change their fate.
So there's a way that even work can be fun? Sounds fake, but I'll tag along with you, just in case.
The underling will now fight alongside you.
Wait, what the heck? You didn't say anything about a boss battle.
The underling, You must be desperate to call on such an unreliable ally.
Huh, if I beat this guy up, all my problems will be over.
Oh, but it won't be that easy. Terrible fate. Ow. Get the Overlord. And now get the Maiden. We'll have all our friends at least. Even if we die, we'll die with all our gang. Ha ha ha! Now that the whole party's here, can you solve my final puzzle? Which combination of behaviors will open the path to your true ending? Show me. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Underling, we need your tenacity.
Knock me down and I'll just come back stronger.
The underling uses their tenacity to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Maiden, use hope.
Our true endings do exist, they simply must.
The Maiden hopes with all her heart to overcome tragedy. Hero, we need your willpower. Your reign of terror ends here, tragedy. I refuse to give in. The hero uses willpower to overcome tragedy. Okay. Overlord, ambition.
I'll reach my true end with my own power.
The Overlord uses your ambitious nature to overcome tragedy. This is it. With everyone's hearts united, you take aim towards your best possible futures. You all unleash one final attack to destroy tragedy once and for all. Ha! Ha 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 ha! You've done it. You've managed to defeat me. A tragic ending for tragedy itself. I love it. I must thank you all for fulfilling your roles perfectly. Thank you, hero. Thank you, Maiden. Thank you, underling. Thank you, Overlord. Enough of this nonsense. We defeated you, so die already. Don't worry, I'll be making my exit shortly. Finally, thank you most of all. We couldn't have made it here without you. Yes, my bad end theater did contain a truly good ending after all. I apologize for antagonizing you for so long. I wanted to deliver a satisfying story. Was I able to do it? I wonder. I'm satisfied. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Happy endings shouldn't always come easily. Reality is not so kind. But you've earned this one. Here's your true ending. Yes! We did it! We only needed 13 endings to do it. There's still, like, 30 more almost. So I guess I should, at some point, oh, like, I haven't seen that one. Oh, there's, There's lyrics. I got the true end, but I didn't get, like, any other kind of happy ending. Exit the theater. I guess that's the end of the episode. That was a really fun game. Thanks, Amity, for giving it to me. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And yeah. Bye-bye.